Hi guys, Freddy here, welcome back to the desktop for another retro RPG. And this week it's kind of a special one for a number of reasons. Firstly, the game I covered today will be my rules breakdown on Friday, and my release schedule this week falls on Christmas Day, so I'm going to have a Christmas Day video this year. Secondly, about a month ago, I passed over the 1,000 subscribers number, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you that have subscribed. Many thanks. It's great. I'm really starting to recognize names in the comments. I'd like to go shout out to Richardson Games and Rivers RPG channel. I see your comments and they're very much appreciated. I really look forward to them every time I see them. Thanks guys. But 1,000 subscribers, more than I could have expected. Thank you very much. The next reason it's special is that roughly at the same time as that happened, an eBay search came up with something. I've had various eBay searches set for role-playing games I'm trying to get, older ones. But one of the games I'd got on my searches, I'd just never seen. And then it turned up. And that's what I'm covering this week. Price of Freedom. The West End Games 1986 Greg Costikyan role-playing game. Now, rather strangely, roughly about the same time as it showed up on eBay and I bought it as part of a bundle, the PDFs of it also showed up on the Trove, so I could have downloaded those illegally and done a PDF rules breakdown and a review of the game, but I actually bought the box set, and I love it. This game got a lot of flack at the time when it came out. It was very controversial, because it is from a very right-wing point of view. This is heroic Americans shooting nasty evil commies in the face to save freedom. But it's Greg Costikyan. He's one of the funniest writers out there, and to tell this truth, this game has so much tongue in its cheek. It's hilarious in places, and the fact that people thought it was serious, I find very funny, but probably in retrospect. But this is Red Dawn, the role-playing game. It's the communists have invaded America, and you have to fight for your freedom. So let's have a look at the back of the box, because it's a lovely big box set here. Eternal vigilance is the price of freedom. The skies are filled with Soviet orbital defenses. Who controls the high ground of space controls Earth. America is naked to its enemies. The Soviet premier demands American surrender. The president complies. Soviet troops are landing in your hometown. In this, its darkest hour, America needs heroes. Are you willing to pay the price of freedom? In The Price of Freedom, you play as an American who chooses to resist the communist occupiers. You must find the weapons and leadership to resist effectively. The invaders have absolute nuclear supremacy. Regular military opposition is impossible. The only way they can be defeated is to make the occupation of America so costly they must withdraw. But remember, no occupied nation has ever liberated itself without outside help, and we have no one to help us. The fate of America is in your hands. The Price of Freedom, a realistic and flexible modern weapons combat system with rules for every aspect of man-to-man warfare, from combat and grenades to vehicles, heavy weapons, and night operations. Combat system played with full-colour maps and counters, as a miniatures game, and also as simple combat system. A character system which promotes roleplay, with rules for personality and physical tags, interests, and passions. Waging guerrilla war, how to fight the occupation, and analysis of the methods and objectives of the American resistance. Running a campaign, developing a setting, character backgrounds, recurrent non-player characters, etc. Adventure design, the principles of plotting, characterization, and staging. A complete adventure, The Path of Freedom, and many short ones, Radio Free America, The Last Congressman, etc. Tables of organization and equipment for the American strategic direction, the Soviet occupation forces. Extensive background material, how America fell, the organization of Soviet society, and how the Soviets plan to remold America. Price of Freedom includes four-page freedom files, introduction to the game, pre-generated characters, Soviet-issued universal identification papers, combat charts, and tables. 32-page player book, 64-page Gamemaster Book, 100 full-color back-printed game counters, 2 different 11 by 17 inch full-color game maps, 20-sided die, counter tray with locking plastic lid, for 2 to 6 players plus Gamemaster, for ages 12 and up. And it's by West End Games, who, as if you watch the channel, you know I adore their Star Wars role-playing game, Paranoia, Ghostbusters. They're all things I think are fantastic. So opening up the box here, well, we've got the counters and the tray, and we've also got a dice. Now, you might not be able to make the numbers out on this. If I hold it against the light, you can probably see it reflecting there. But this is how dice used to come back in the day. Many of you remember, but any of my younger players might have not heard, or younger players who watch the channel might not have heard about this. But you used to get dice like this with a small crayon. And you'd rub the crayon, which would fill in the numbers, and then wipe the excess off. And that's how you would number your dice. But I've got dozens of these in my dice bag from different games. They came blank and I never really knew what to do with them, because it was much later I discovered that's what you were supposed to do with the crayon. It just seemed a bit odd. You got a crayon and some blank dice, which were just hard to read. Right, I'll lift them out of the way. We've got the player book. We've got the Gamemaster Book. We've got the Read This First, Freedom File A, Freedom File D. Some player characters here. A catalogue, and the full colour maps. So I'll lift all that out and I'll put the box to the side. Slide that up. So we're starting with a player book. Sorry for the interruption there, but somebody decided to start messaging me and I'd forgotten to switch my phone off. Whoops. Remedied now. But anyway, we've got a nice player book here. I do love the artwork. If I flick back to the cover, I really like that. It sells the era with Lenin and the American patriots bursting out of the flag, better dead than red on their t-shirt. Nice to know that even in Soviet occupancy, they can still get the t-shirt printing shops to run off new ones for them. But we've got cut down sections. We've got that hero on the front of the player's book. Nice table of contents. Then we're onto it. And it sells the tone by having dual language titles, and there's lots of patriotic quotes all over the place with the American eagle above them. The world cannot live half slave and half free. Remember the Alamo. And we go through basic game concepts, character creation, very standard. The artwork's a bit basic, a bit pencil, but it does sell the tone of the game a lot. As I said, this is very Red Dawn. It's America has been invaded. I'll get onto the details of that when we reach the handout. The combat system, and we just go through this section, and it details how the rules work. So we've got hero points. That's one of the elements of the game which was most controversial back at the time, because Americans get hero points, which allow them to ignore being killed, dodge a bullet, ignore fatigue or exhaustion, make a heroic effort, succeed in a skill or a tribute roll, take 2 actions in 1 combat roll, instead of just a normal one. But Russians don't actually get that. Russians are ordinary people, while Americans are heroes. And I got interrupted once again. Somebody messaging me on my computer this time. I've turned the volume off. I apologise. I don't usually get interrupted this much on a Saturday morning when I'm recording these. But anyway, as I was saying, that's kind of the thing with the game. You play as the heroes. In Star Wars role-playing games, you get force points, where you get your ability to do superheroic abilities because you're heroic. Many other role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons, your player characters get levels where most of the people wandering the streets are 0 level. You are better than the average person. And I don't see that as being outrageous. I would have thought if you wanted to create a Russian hero who was going to fight the Americans, a big villain, then perhaps you'd be able to use the hero points for him as well. But that'd be up to the games master. Anyway, going through, liberty in every blow. I only regret that I have 1 life to lose for my country. Waging guerrilla war. The Statue of Liberty with a Russian flag draped over it, or the Soviet flag. Got weapons lists. Equipment charts, and then map of occupied America. The People's Democratic Republic of Canada, the Republic Socialiste de Quebec, Maritime Soviet Socialist Republic, United American Soviets, Amerindian People's Autonomous Region, the Mexican Cessation, Mexico, Texas Federated Socialist Republic, Confederate Soviets of America. So America's been totally shattered. A note to liberal readers. Okay, we know that some of you are going to be uncomfortable with the premise of the price of freedom. We didn't do the game to offend your sensibilities. We did it to give you an enjoyable role-playing experience. We see no reason why you shouldn't enjoy our game without compromising your political beliefs, whatever they may be. Yeah, and that's very much it. This is a game. You know, you don't have to buy the politics of it. It's the situation you're in, and you can have fun being out of the ordinary world. Perhaps in 2020, we're so far removed from the United States, USSR rivalry that it just seems a bit silly now. But, you know, it's fun. That catharsis is fun. Let's face it, we'd all like to blow things up. We'd all like to crush our enemies. Fortunately, society forbids us to act on those impulses. The price of freedom releases those emotions, and as a result, it can be a gas. Blow it up real good. Eat hot death, commie dog. That's the ticket. Yeah, we do stuff in role-playing games which we normally wouldn't. And shooting commies in the face, well, why the hell not? Okay, we're on to the Gamemaster Book, which goes through the background of it, setting up your first game, how this adventure is organized. The adventure setting. So, as your players get together, the very first adventure they give you is as the Soviets are landing in. The setup of the game is that America's handed control over to the Russians rather than being conquered outright. It's not a total Red Dawn situation where the soldiers turn up and seize control. America's asked to surrender and has no other option, so surrenders. And Soviet forces are coming. So you've got days before they actually turn up in your hometown to set things up. And this adventure details that as you form your cell. So the characters get together, gathering at somebody's house. They've got a chance of getting guns. They've got a chance of going out and destroying evidence about themselves. You know, the communists are going to be looking for people with gun licenses. They're going to be looking for members of the Republican Party, etc., etc. So going out and destroying the records that you are one of those people will help your cover. Designing and running adventures. So just talking you through that. Setting up a campaign. Death before dishonor. Live free or die. Adventure hooks. Basically ideas about how you should be setting up adventures in this occupied America. The attributes, the skills, just giving the Games Master idea how to run the game rules-wise. More about hero points. Some maps. Games Master's charts. Because, of course, this is a 1980s role-playing game, so it's got to be filled with charts. Movement, general survival rules, combat, a battle scenario, because they give you all these tokens for a reason, because they do expect you to do sort of larger combats. Battle scenario, the arsenal in Hudson Mall. Artillery and mortars. The Soviet plans, what they actually plan to do with the American strategic direction. The background section, so how Soviet forces are set up. Just lots and lots of information about Cuban and Nicaraguan infantry, Soviet airborne divisions, Soviet equipment, the shape of things to come, designer's notes, vehicle roster and NPC roster. And then we're on to the read this first Freedom File A A gutless president has been elected. America has signed international agreements prohibiting Star Wars defenses. The Soviet Union has developed a shield against nuclear attack. The Soviet premier demands American surrender. The president complies. Soviet troops are landing in your hometown. In this, its darkest hour, America needs heroes. Are you willing to pay the price of freedom? And it goes through, the players. Gamemaster. What's this game about? What's the situation? Some history. How do I play? And just a very quick run over the rules. Now, one of the points of showing it's very tongue-in-cheek here is the Freedom Fighters checklist, where you've got ordinary things. You need a gun, ammunition, a knife, a canteen, 2 weeks of rations, maps, cigarettes, nylons, and other trade goods. Very World War II. If you've got any of these, take them. Boy Scouts Handbook, Anarchist Cookbook, a copy of West End Games, Price of Freedom, and miniatures. So the game includes itself in what patriotic Americans should have. And if that's not a clue that it's being so tongue-in-cheek as to be ridiculous, I don't know what is. Useful Russian phrases. Thank you or please. You're welcome. Halt. Workers of all countries unite. I am sorry, I do not speak Russian. No, I have no Bibles or other religious icons. Where do I go to obtain my ration stamps? Here is my internal passport. How do I enlist my child in Young Communist League? I know nothing of these things. My name is, my rank is, my serial number is. I am not now, nor have I ever been a member of the Republican Party. Yes, no, comrade, goodbye. So, we've got the Russian versions of those, but the selection of useful phrases is so ridiculous. I am not a member of the Republican Party. How do I list my child in the Young Communist League? I have no Bibles or other religious icons. Just such right-wing paranoia that the left-wing want to destroy their membership of political parties and want to destroy their religion, that they are in danger. It's just such paranoia that carries on to this day in the right-wing, I'll be honest. Freedom File D. Skill and Tribute Modifier Chart. Terrain modifiers. Just quick look up things. Small arms combat. Procedure, fire against personnel. And then we've got the characters for the pre-built characters. Billy Barstow, who is Irish-American, patriotic but apolitical. He didn't go to church much. Family ration. Talked to his parents once a week. Brother killed in Nam. Personal heroes. Bruce, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan. Yeah, because there is only one Bruce. Personal heroes. J. Edgar Hoover, G. Gordon Liddy, Bernard Goetz. Maria Calligari. Personal heroes. Leon Trotsky, Che Guevara, Eden Pastora. So we've got a variety of different political types here. George P. Jordo Miller. Let's see. German-American. Pre-occupation job mercenary. Personal heroes. William F. Buckley, Barry Goldwater, and Dwight D. Eisenhower. Johnson Merriweather. A lapsed Baptist. Martin Luther King, George Washington, Carver, and Ludwig von Mises. I'm afraid I'm not aware of those. And Moish Cohen, who has Lech Wałęsa as one of his personal heroes. We've got a wee catalogue here. So not much to do with the game, but showing that they were selling Ghostbusters at the same time. Star Trek. Cosmic Encounter, which I've covered before. And, of course, Paranoia. And then we've got the full colour maps, which are quite nice. Useful for the combat token system for running larger battles. And that is the price of freedom. I'm sorry I got interrupted a couple of times while going through this, but I've really wanted to do this for years. I so wanted it back from when I first saw it in a game store in my hometown way back in 1986. It was an option for being my first role-playing game, and then it totally disappeared because the controversy about it did mean that it didn't sell terribly well. And I wanted a copy of this. I'm a big fan of Greg Costikyan, West End games, and it just sounded silly enough for me to like it, and I am so pleased to have it. I am so pleased to have presented it. But as always, I think I've whittled on for quite long enough. These breaks in recording have meant I've kept talking for even longer than normal. So thank you for sticking with me through this. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment below. As always, it does me absolutely massive favors with the YouTube algorithm. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves. And I'll catch you later. Bye now.